Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Alhamdulillahirrahmanirrahim. Well, honorable Ms. Sapitri as our lecturer. We are from group 7. We are going to discuss about very interesting topic. The topic is the student difficulties in speaking English. There are two main objects that we are going to discuss. The number one is what are the causes of student difficulties in speaking English. Number two is what are the solutions to overcome this problem. But before we are starting our discussion for today, I would like to introduce myself to you. My name is Hadi Santoso. I live in Ciracas, East Jakarta, and please introduce yourself, friends.
Yeah, my name is Irisa Putri. I live in Cinere.
My name is Majida Felayati. I live in Munjul, Cipayung, East Jakarta.
And my name is Muhammad Abdullah Siddiq. My friends call me Siddiq. I live in Sunterjaya, North Jakarta.
Okay, well, let's continue. As we know that English is international language. English is the mostly spoken in the world. And English is very important language. And English is compulsory subject in our school. And the problem is, we can see that our students who have good in English, in mastering good in English, but they cannot speak very well. And it is easily found that the student cannot speak English very well. So let's discuss and talk about the problem and how to overcome this problem in difficulties in speaking English. Okay, I want you. Can you give opinion about this problem?
Thank you for the opportunity. Cause of difficulties, number one is I think fear of mistakes.
Fear of mistakes.
Yes.
Okay.
As argued by many theories, fear of mistakes become one of the main factors of students to speak in English in the classroom. The primary reason of fear of mistake is that students are afraid of looking foolish in the front of the other people.
Okay.
As a result, students commonly stop participating in the speaking activity.
Okay, that's very bad. So, what are the solutions to that problem?
Okay, the possible solution is the teachers create a harmonious atmosphere that can reduce student nervousness. I think that's the solution.
Okay, very good. Number one problem is fear of making mistake. That is normal. Okay, very good. Okay, how about you? Can you give the opinion about the student problem?
I think the second is shyness. Shyness is an emotional thing that many students suffer from at some time when they are required to speak in English class. This indicates that shyness could be a source of problem in students' learning activities in the classroom, especially in the class of speaking. Cause of shyness in this case, the students are not very confident and tend to be shy because most of them find it very intimidating when speaking English in front of their friends and teachers.
Okay, when you are knowing your student being shy to speak English in front of classroom, so what would you do to overcome this?
Well, as the teacher, I think creates a friendly and open classroom environment. By doing this, say students are how to feel fine of making mistakes in this learning. This way, students will not worry of their imperfect pronunciation English.
Okay, so being shy is commonly problem for the student, especially when the teacher wants them to speak in front of the classroom. So it's commonly problem. Okay, the number three causes is number two, shy, being shy. And what about you? Do you have opinion about the student problem in speaking?
I think one of students having difficult learning English is anxiety. Anxiety is feeling of and nervousness associated with the situation of learning a foreign language.
Okay.
In other words, anxiety influences students in learning language.
Okay.
And suggests that
Anxiety. When you know your student feel anxiety to speak English, what would you do?
Possible solution to overcome to anxiety, the teacher should accept the variety of answer to student. This way, the student can feel more confident
Okay.
in answering the teacher question and participating in every activities of the class.
Okay. Very good solution. And I have one cause that makes the student do not get difficulties in speaking English. It is lack of the confidence. It is commonly for the student not feel confident to speak English. I think there are two causes of lack of the confidence. Number one is students feel that they cannot speak very well, and number two, lack of the encouragement from the teacher. So how to overcome the student lack of the confidence? I think there are two things that the teacher should do. Number one is maximizing the student exposure to English is good way to build the student confidence. Number one. And number two, teacher can provide regular opportunities to practice proper pronunciation and intonation and to converse freely. That is number four causes. It is lack of the confidence. How about you? Can you give one small time?
Okay, I want to give other opinion about the cause of difficulties. I think lack of motivation. Lack of motivation is a lack of knowledge about the goals of the instructional programs, and the possible solution is teachers can do activities like promoting student awareness of the importance of English and enhancing student interest in English.
Okay, very good. There are five causes of students' problem in speaking. Number one is fear of mistake. Number two, shyness. And number three, anxiety. Number four, lack of the confidence. And number five, lack of motivation. There are five. Okay, well, finally I can give the conclusion for our discussion. Okay, the conclusion is the teacher should understand their student interest and feeling, improve their learners' self-confidence, and choose the best teaching method to keep their learners involved in speaking activity. So as the teacher, we have to find a way, the solution to overcome the problem that is facing by the students. So it is our task and duty to create the student feel comfortable to speak English and then to communicate. So that's very good. That's very good topic for today. And let's be well. That's all our discussion about the student difficulties in speaking English. Perhaps our discussion can be beneficial and useful for the teacher to overcome the problem when the student get the difficulties in speaking English. That's all. Thank you for your attention. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Matiin ya?